what parameters measures performance of the BA in an organization? What are the performance measures for a BA?
Yeah, that is like one of the hardest questions. I have to say, I left my role managing business analysts, 12 years ago now. And at that time, like, it was still, because I was so close to the BA role and I like understood the pain that they went through, right? It was so hard for me to have measures. It was very easy for project, like, is the project on time? Does everybody know what they're doing? Are they making progress? And testing is super easy, right? Are we finding defects in production that's super easy to evaluate. Business analysis is so interdependent that it made it really challenging to come up with metrics. And the best resource I know about that is Adriana Beale has a book, an ebook called Measuring the Performance of Business Analysis. And to me, that's a great resource to go to for understanding metrics. And
but it also varies from organization to organization, right? So I don't know if that person is working in the BA role now, but you could also speak with your manager and know, what am I going to be measured against? What are the performance measures what is expected of me? And that would actually guide you. But a lot of times your deliverables, are also a lot of things that, your manager will look at, and how you run your meetings, and, how you engage and collaborate with stakeholders. A lot of all these things are things that people kind of note and use to kind of gauge where you're at. Are you improving? Are you a superhero? Or whatever phase you're at.
Yeah, and keep track of your wins too. So, because some of the things that are the biggest successes for business analysts are hard to measure. So, like when you mentioned, maybe we don't even need this project, it's just a user training issue, right? So if you go into a project that people are anticipating is a few months of a project, and you discover it's just a training issue and it's over within a week, like, you saved your company tons of money, but that might not show up in how your organization is measuring the value of business analysis, right? In terms of that cost savings, like, if that's not what they're measuring. And so every project has different opportunities. And so really keep a record of, what efficiencies have you helped create? What value did you help bring about? How much revenue did this contribute to, or cost savings did this contribute to? So you have those measures to share about the projects that you've been a part of as well.
As a business analyst, do I have to work in IT? Do I have to be in technology?
Yeah, there's lots of different categories or flavors of business analysis roles, and there are definitely business analysts who are more on the business side, though a lot of them are still within the IT team, right? But they are more of the business facing business analyst. So if you are going to be working as a BA on a software project and not just isolate yourself to business process improvement, which I think is, those opportunities out there, but they are more limited, right? Like, if you're going to, software is so part of how we do business and how we improve processes that you're most likely going to be touching IT in some way. And so having good relationships with your IT team and a good understanding of the potential of technology and how to analyze and write software requirements, not in terms of the system design, but like, what does the software actually need to do to achieve a specific business outcome and to implement this business process? Like, it's going to be a good skill set to have. And then we do see people in those roles, sometimes sitting within the IT function and sometimes sitting within the business function. It really depends on the organization.
Why do you champion business analysis? Why is it something that you love to speak and share and help people with? Why?
I think it comes back to my story of how frustrated I was before I moved into this role. And like, there was a sense of when I stepped into that role and started to learn what that role entailed, and like, it's like I felt like my potential was being realized for the first time. I felt like I was in a role that was just always going to be part of my life. And like, I found a home for like this crazy background I had. And And it's really, so to me, the why is like helping people, like it's really gratifying to help people make that similar transformation. Where they're like, I love helping people become business analysts and become better business analysts. I really like helping people who really love, like who find that like their inner being lights up when they're in this role.
Right.
Like it's just cool to see that light bulb go off, and also to help people really break through other barriers that might be holding them back too, and just to see them grow and expand. And I feel like I've had a lot of opportunity in my life to move up in my career and to start my business and to do all these things, and it's just a way of helping people move along that path as well.
Something that, a lot of, BAs or even new BAs struggle with is the interviews and, how to actually, sell themselves at the interviews, what to say, how to say it. What's your advice to, people who have probably gotten some interviews and, they didn't get that job, probably because they weren't able to really communicate their value. What's your share on that?
Yeah, my top tip for preparing for interviews is to prepare like 3 to 5 stories. And like look at the job requirements. What are the things that they're looking for? And then think about your past experience and what are the top 3 to 5 experiences that you have in your career, like projects or scenarios that you could share that would represent those. And then practice like telling those stories in as much detail as you can beforehand, so that you've got the details fresh in your mind. You can call up those examples. And then in the interview, then you're looking for which of these stories is going to best articulate my experience related to this question. And I do believe in, even if somebody's asking you a question like, what is a use case? I mean, you should answer that question. A use case is, and then you should say an example. An example of a use case that I've created was this, and the challenge I had with it was this, right? So that because they're really like, they're not looking for the book answer. Even if they ask that of what is a use case, they really want to know, how are you going to be able to use this effectively in our organization and deliver value? And so you just always be coming back to sharing specific examples of your experience will help, I think, the interview go better. And then that's how you show your value, because if you've done it for somebody else, it's implicitly showing that you can do it for them.
For someone who's already working as a BA and looking for a way to sort of elevate themselves in their career or sort of get ahead, right? So, you moved from, being assistant analyst, to manager of business analysis to director before you moved into your own consulting. What's your advice with, that kind of progression in the business analysis world? Like, how would you advise anyone who wants to sort of progress in their business analysis career?
Yeah, I think the most important question to always ask yourself is like, what do you actually want? Right. And we ask that in our coaching programs a lot. And what do you actually want? Like, what does success look like to you? What is the next step in your career? Like, and how does that actually really, really serve you? So if you've already got some experience, like you have a lot of options. And what I see people do is like, do I need to do this or this or this? And they get into kind of scarcity mode about feeling like their opportunity is going to go away. And so they need to focus on like the most lucrative opportunities or the most cutting edge opportunities. And if, what you really want is X amount of salary, then for sure, like that's your path. Like figure out the specialties that are paying the most right now. And as long as you don't hate that, do that. But a lot of times for people, it might be salary, but it might be something else. Right? Like is working from home or having a different kind of schedule or working on a certain kind of project or having your work make a contribution. Like what is actually important to you? And to get really, really clear on that. And then looking at, okay, what are my opportunities to get there? And I do really believe in shifting job roles as a way to progress, whether that's in a lateral move in your company or changing companies. It shifts so much, and it does force you to grow those
Right.
situations. And so, like, unless, you know, your goal is whatever your company provides, but you still want to be moving around some, because then if you are in the case where something happens to your company, you have multiple skill sets to draw from that will be valued by an external company as well, in case, like, we never know, right, what's going to happen.
We never know.
You know, like, we never knew that 2020 was going to have a pandemic. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are facing that right now. Not to say that lightly whatsoever, but you just never know. And so having the opportunity to move around at least a couple of times gives you that confidence and that experience, and some more depth to your experience as well.
For people, you know, who are, you know, one, trying to get into business analysis, two, are trying to get that business analyst job, and three, people who are in a role who are trying to move forward, what would be your, you know, your success tips for people who are looking into the business analysis career path and saying, you know, is this really going to be for me? Is it oversaturated? That's why I haven't gotten a job yet. You know, what are your, tips or success strategies for these people?
Yeah, I would say look beyond just the job title. So really clarify what being a business analyst means to you, and pay more attention to the responsibilities within some of the job titles than the actual job title. And that will potentially open up additional opportunities for you. And yeah, so it's more about getting started now, like in our current environment, right? Was the question, right? So, and definitely pulling from your past experience, your past expertise, industries, business applications that you have experience in. Often I see people who just want to make this like really hard break with their past, right? And I've done this in my business a couple of times where I feel like, oh, I've got to start everything over just to make sure it really counts. Like that is the hard path. Like, allow yourself to leverage the expertise that you do have, the experience you have. It will make an easier transition, especially in the current environment that we're in now. You want to really make yourself stand out, and the easiest way is to leverage everything that you've done in the past.